You ain't had no questions or?
Me?
Yeah. Did you?
Shit, hell yeah, I got questions for you. What you talking about?
All right.
I got plenty of questions now. Now that you told me,
Okay.
sis answer, you know what I'm saying? So.
But ain't about nothing.
Alright, so for those that don't really know how me and Tamika know each other is from basically the neighborhood we came up in. So I guess you can introduce yourself, let people know your name and stuff like that.
Okay.
And where they can find you, like your social media.
All right. My name is Tamika Bruce. I am a returning citizen. I am a justice impacted mentor, community advocate, and I have programs for the family unit for children and families through my organization called Lift the City. I am working on legislation around supporting children of incarcerated parents. And we'll get into that because that is actually my story and my passion.
Okay. All right, tell me a little bit about your upbringing though. Like where your location, where you grew up.
Okay, well, my upbringing, I grew up a large part behind PG Plaza. Behind PG Plaza, I went to Northwestern High School. I went to Nicholas Orme Middle School. I grew up in Mount Rainier.
Oh yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah. I used to live on 37th, and I used to live on 32nd. And way back in the day, I used to live on 38th.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Right, before I met you, I lived on 38th, yes.
Something new. So coming up, like, was your mother and father together? Like, what type of household did you come up in? Did you have like any disciplinary?
So for me, it was my mom and my stepdad. I'm from West Virginia. That's how I even got to DC, because my mom married my stepdad. And so then we moved to DC. That's how I even got to this area. And so it was my mom and my stepdad, and they was rough on us.
What age was that?
7. I was 7. Yes.
Oh, okay.
They was rough on us. We had a lot of discipline. You know my sister. We had a lot of discipline. Yes.
Okay. So did you surround yourself like, you know, because like bad, I guess, a group or anything like that coming up?
I feel like I didn't necessarily surround myself with a group, but once I got to high school, you know, it was always me and my sister and my best friend. And so, but when I got to high school, I was hanging with Laverne, Ikea, CC, you know, and they was from around Landover or Kentland. And so, yeah, that was the group that I hung with.
Oh, okay. You ain't had no like issues at home or anything like that coming up?
So as far as,
COVID?
You know, I feel like my whole home life was an issue. I feel like the entire thing was an issue, you know, like I feel like if I had to do it again, I wouldn't, you know.
I mean, like what part of it though? Like, was it anything that had to do with substance abuse or like?
Well, my stepdad, he definitely, you know, was battling addiction. My stepdad was battling addiction. I don't know if my mother knew, or if she wanted to know, or if she wanted to believe, or whatever, but he was definitely battling addiction. And I think that made my mom more hard on us because we're from West Virginia, you know, and my mom is from a small town. And so to move to Washington, D.C. in the height of like
the crack era.
And
yeah, that was tough
so
time.
it was like a culture shock to her. And so in turn, she passed that on to us, and she shocked us. You know?
So when he came to DC with y'all.
He was from DC.
Oh, okay.
So he married my mom, and we were from West Virginia, and he brought us here.
Right. And so you witnessed, like, were you starting to notice certain things, like the addiction part, like the part where, you know what I'm saying, like Because after a while, you can't really control it. I'm talking about the crack girl. Like,
Right,
just,
right, for sure.
It grab a hold of you, and then, you know what I'm
And
saying?
it's over with. You know what I'm saying?
Everything.
You gotta go up through there, and before you can, yeah, for sure. And so, for me, he drank a lot, and so as people who have, lived the street life, been in the street life, or been around people who are addicts, sometimes they will use one substance to cover up another substance.
Yeah.
And so he was using alcohol to cover up the drug addiction.
Right.
So that is how my mom, I'm not saying that she is not an intelligent woman by any means, but he was using the alcohol to cover up the drugs. And so
did it get abusive as far as like how he talked to y'all, treated y'all, beatings or whatever, you know what I'm saying?
We did get beat with the belt, and I do feel like it was excessive. I definitely feel like it was excessive. And I didn't and wouldn't do it to my kids, you know. But yeah, I feel like in that time, in that era, it was, I want to say it was about 50% called for, but I feel like, communication wasn't key back then. So, if we had more focus on communication in the family unit, then I don't think it would have went down as, a knockdown, drag out,
That's probably something that flew over, like our generation, like to where, and we're going to touch on that a little later, but like, as far as like the mental health part, I think this generation kind of like picked it up and like noticed it and trying to like
for sure.
Like as far as us, we ain't really deal with it that much, you know what I'm saying? We turned somewhere else or something like that. Did you have anybody else that was like battling anything like that, substance abuse or anything?
So as far as substance abuse, no, because my mom, she was not, as far as I know, on any substances. But the jury could be out on that, because I feel like some of the mistreatment, it had to come from somewhere, and I don't know where it came from. So there could have been some substances hiding there too, and I was just unaware.
A lot of stuff we miss though, as a child, you know what I'm saying, coming up. Yeah. What about today though? Do you see like the same cycle coming up, like as far as the generation that's coming after us? Do you see the cycle repeating itself sometimes? Or do you know? Do you know anybody that okay, because of their abuse, they might be neglecting their kid a little bit or something, or not treating them well or something like that?
Well, I work in the community, and so these are the families that I see daily. And so it's all around me, and so that's what I do in the community. I work with children and justice impacted individuals and families because they're like me, I want to help people that are like me. Because a lot of the times when we get into situations, it's because we did not recognize our options. And so I like to think of myself as a person who kind of bridges that gap. I don't want a person to feel helpless or hopeless to where they have to commit a crime or they have to do something drastic. If I could get to them before that, so that's my goal as a mentor.
Okay, that's good. So were you like the girly type tomboy, like back in coming up?
I was definitely a tomboy. I was definitely a tomboy. Definitely fighting, definitely a tomboy, definitely baggy jeans, definitely.
Oh, okay. Well, like you get in any trouble while you were younger?
I got kicked out of high school, but I still got my diploma. I definitely got kicked. I definitely got expelled from Northwestern. I definitely did.
Who you beat up?
Like I don't even remember, but there was definitely a few fights, and the administrator was always like, "When I come here, I'm picking you off the person, Miss Bruce. What's going on?" I said, "Because they always starting stuff with me, I had the little hand." They thought they could get over on the little hand, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes I had to show them what it was.
So okay, so when you left school, you said you got your GED or you just went back?
I got my diploma.
Your diploma? Okay. All right, so what made you think like, because some of us, like me, and a lot of other people, you know what I'm saying, they get in trouble and then you drop out of school and that's it. What made you think that, like, damn, I gotta do this? You know what I'm saying?
In my life, I just didn't feel like it was an option. You know what I'm saying? My stepdad had his diploma. My mom had her diploma. My aunts and uncles had been to college. And so it just wasn't an option. You know what I'm saying? Really close to me and in my family, it wasn't anyone who was just like, I'm not going back to high school and I'm just going to do whatever from here. There wasn't that example. And so I just knew I had to go back. It was like, okay, I'm going to sit out these couple months and I'm going to go back next year. It was never a thought of never going back. That never entered my mind.
Oh, that's what's up. What about just coming up? Did you get in any, like, I guess graduating school, you getting out of school, did you deal with any like vices like that you had to deal with that kind of like sat you down or like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like I gotta get this together.
My biggest thing was smoking weed because it can stifle your ambition, you know? And I think sometimes it closes doors for you and you can't recognize your options, you know, because
cost too, right?
Yeah. And you're not in a situation.
Yeah.
You know, well, I came up in the 90s and you know, we was free for girls in the 90s. I don't know what they doing today, but it was free for girls in the 90s, you know.
Yeah. It was like Reggie back then too.
Right.
Yeah, they got everything now. Though,
right,
you know what I'm
for sure.
Shoot. You got to watch out for things like fentanyl too. You know.
That's
Talking
terrible.
about that, I mean, since you got a history of, I guess you said West Virginia, right? That's like a big town where I know there was like some type of documentary on West Virginia one time where people was just dropping.
Yeah.
Did you hear of it, or did you like, you know what I'm saying, like witness it?
It's like when I came home originally from prison in 2016, that's where I did my halfway house time in West Virginia, because that's where I had moved back and that's where I had caught my case.
Okay.
And so.
Wait, how old were you?
I was 29 when I caught my case.
Okay.
Yes. And I was 25 when I moved back to West Virginia, and 29 when I caught my case.
So what was your mindset like that to like, were you like out of control like that to make you, you know what I'm saying, get in trouble?
I don't feel like I was out of control. I had just become complacent. The thing with me is I felt like I would never sell crack again once I left Mount Rainier. You know, I used to be right down on
hold up.
38th and Rhode Island.
So you was a hustler. I didn't know that. This something new. Let me hear about it.
You know how it is. And so, yeah. I was right up top.
Mount Rainier?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
So, hold up. So, you know, I ain't going to talk on that. Yeah, you know a lot of people around here.
For sure. You know what I'm saying? You know, RIP to all my brothers. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. For sure. But yeah, I know a lot of people around here. Yeah, I told you I came up here. I came up right on 37th. I used to walk right up the block to 38th.
So you caught any charges because of that? Like,
no, I didn't. No, I never caught a charge dealing out here. And I had quit. That's what I was saying. I had quit. And then I got to West Virginia, and they was paying full price for drugs.
Oh yeah.
They was not coming. Yeah. Can I get 2 for anything? Yeah. They had the money. The money was straight, and they went and told their friends. So you would look up, and it'd be like 10 people waving money at you, and I'm like,
it's hard.
Hold on.
And that's all the time too.
And so it was just a different experience, and I'm gonna say it. I guess I got excited, and I got back into it.
Okay. So let's talk about the sit down part.
Oh yeah,
what happened, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did, like, when you realize, like, whatever got you in trouble, like, when you realize, like, damn, I ain't getting out of this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, when I realized that it was real.
Where were your mind at, though? Like, I mean, you say you got complacent. You know what I'm saying? So, like, where were your mind at the time? Like, damn, I gotta sit down.
I think I kind of accepted it really quickly when they told me, okay, you're facing a 10-year mandatory minimum. It's nothing that can move it except a safety valve, and you can't get a safety valve because you got this little charge here and this little petty charge here. And so you have a criminal history of 2 instead of 1. And so I wasn't eligible for the safety valve.
Maryland,
and
Virginia, or
West Virginia.
West Virginia.
But this was a federal case. And so I wasn't eligible for the safety valve. And so I had the mandatory minimum. I was facing the mandatory minimum. I was going to get the mandatory minimum. The mandatory minimum was what it was because the guidelines were in place. It was a 10-year, 120-month mandatory minimum.
Cried, tears?
I probably cried about 5 times the whole time I was locked up. I'm really not a crier for real. I'm really a person that's going to think, how do I make this better? How do I get out of this? What am I going to do on the other side?
Yeah.
I'm not really a person that's going to cry because to me, to cry about it, you got to sit in it for a hot little minute. Yeah. And I ain't about that. Let me think of my next step. Don't tell me I can't pass go. Do not tell me do not collect $200. I'm gone.
Yeah. So at this time, did you have any kids at the time?
At the time, I had my 3 children. Yes, they were born. Yes. When I caught my case, my children were 10, 9, and 7.
Okay.
Yes, they're now 27.
What was going through your mind that time?
Yes.
Like, that's tough.
That was the hardest part. That was the hardest part. And it was rough. It was really rough because they didn't want to do sports anymore. Because I had them in sports, and so they're looking at other children with their moms, and I'm not there, so that was rough. They kind of lost their motivation, for things that we used to do that I felt they liked and was familiar to them. They didn't want anything that was really going to remind them too much of me and the things that we did.
Right.
And I understand that, but it really hurt me that they were not able to be kids and have the things that they really enjoyed. That's
the damage and effect that it has.
For sure.
People don't see that part of it. They see the excitement of getting it, especially people that have kids. You know what I'm saying? They don't see the damages and that you could cause through somebody else, and then they got to do it, and it's like the cycle keep repeating.
It's a lot of trauma.
Yeah. Did you notice anything that because I'm quite sure you kept in touch with them all the time to make sure, like, you know what I'm saying, they like try to guide them in a way.
Yeah, it's best I could, but my family
it's tough though.
Created barriers for me to even communicate with my children, tough. And that was rough. You know what I'm saying? That was rough. So I still think about it sometimes
because they were mad.
And I don't even know if they were mad. I don't know. I wouldn't treat anyone like that. So I don't know where their mind was. I know I committed a crime and they were 2 hours away. 2 hours, so I committed a crime. I made those choices, yes. But the way I look at it is when I committed my crime and I made those choices, now we are here. What do we do from here? Yeah. The best thing is for you to bring my children so I can see them, so they can see me. I want to know they're safe. They want to know I'm safe as well.
Okay, so who stepped up though, like to watch your kids?
My sister. My sister had my children for 4 years, the first 4 years, and then my mother had them for the second 4 years.
Okay. Do you think resentment in a way, like bitterness, like because it wasn't like I know people had to step up, but at the same time, like it took them out of. No, I don't. Not really comfort zone, but
right? I don't.
They might have already did that part in their life already. They just trying to live.
Yeah, I don't. I don't think it was bitterness, and I'm going to tell you why on both parts. I don't think it was bitterness for my sister because when I had originally gotten arrested, my children were at my father's home, and she went there and she got them and said, "Y'all are coming with me." And she told my dad if she wanted to fight for the children, that she would see him in court. So she willingly,
stepped up,
aggressively came and got them. And so to be bitter about a choice that you made, although that happens, I'm not going to recognize that as the reason today. And for my mom,
sometimes people take on things
more than they could chew.
Yeah, and not knowing, like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Because they thinking out of emotions too, you know what I'm saying? So it could have been one of them things, and then most we could do is just thank them for it.
Right, and I appreciate them.
But it's tough though, you know what I'm saying? When you behind them, it's tough.
Yeah, it is. It is
a tough thing because both parties going through it for real. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You're going through it. They going through it out there. So it's but you got past that. Like,
Yeah. I'm not here to hold any grudges, you know. I Yeah, I don't hold any grudges. You know, I have asked my sister to apologize to my children because they did tell me certain things that she did that were out of line for discipline, and they feel hurt by them. And so they would like an apology. So I asked her to apologize to them, and she said no. So
how would a how you think, because that's a tough topic to even touch on, you know what I'm saying? But I'm a parent too, so I could kind of like, I guess, talk about it a little bit. But you know, how were they though? Did you think they became, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when parents, I mean, I've heard stories. Sometimes when parents get locked up, they get mad at the mom or dad for,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know somebody specific I'm thinking of, mad at their dad for years, you know what I'm saying? So they could be rebelling too. Like,
right.
I did a lot of things when my mom died, like, I didn't realize I was doing it. You know what I'm saying? It was just like, so it's one of them things where, do you think they could have been acting out so much to where it became uncontrollable a little bit, so where maybe that discipline was needed, you think? You know? Because you wasn't there, like, so a lot of stuff happened that the kids don't even know why they acting out
Right,
sometimes.
right. But okay, I'll give you an example. Because I do understand discipline. My mother and my stepfather were harsh disciplinarians. And so that made me, just by default, somewhat understanding of harsh discipline, you know, because I went through it and it didn't kill me. So, you know, it can't be that bad. And so I understand harsh discipline, but something my children told me that my sister did was sit them at the dinner table with milk and a vitamin because they were on punishment. She took their dinner away.
Yeah.
And she sat them at the table with her and her son while they were eating food. And that's inhumane. That's not discipline. That is psychological trauma. That is despicable. That's not discipline.
Yeah, I mean, you probably have to cut that part out. But, you know what I'm saying? You know, some things, you know.
That's not discipline.
Yeah, some things. Hey, Quay, check the door for me. Cat calling me.
Because they could, they can come to my YouTube. They'll see it there.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah,
I mean, some things, you know, just to hurt.
Yeah, whatever you cut, you cut.
Yeah. So where did the entrepreneurship part of it come in from you though? Was it from the hustle side to where like you kind of was like, you know how to go out and get it? You know what I mean, on your own?
I think so. I think so. But when I got to prison and I was like, okay, I have these 3 children. Their father is serving 63 years already.
The father?
So it's just me.
Okay.
And so when I leave here, what can I do?
So they could carry on basically or leave.
Yeah, to maintain a lifestyle so that I can, so in the winter times when they need a coat, I can afford one.
Yeah.
When they need shoes, I can buy it. You know, it was no more crack dealing. Yeah. You know, so I had to, I call it plotting my escape. So I had to plot my escape when I got there. And I used cosmetology to do that.
Did you do that like when you were younger too? Like when you already kind of like, before you went in, like, you know, your young days, you good at fixing things or doing hair or whatever. Is that what kind of like made you pick up on it or something?
No, it didn't. I really had no interest.
Really?
When I got to prison, there were like 3 or 4 girls that I became close with, and they did hair or was in the middle of cosmetology school or just knew how to do hair, and it was never an excitement or a thing for me. Yeah. But when I looked at the list of things that the prison offered, I didn't want to be a plumber. I didn't want to do masonry. I didn't want to do auto mechanic. They had all painting. They had things that men traditionally do.
Right.
And so the only one they had was cosmetology.
Okay.
And so I said, you know what? This is what I'm going to use when I get home. I'm going to use cosmetology.
Were you able to get a license in there?
Yes.
Like, really?
Yes. Yeah. Yes. I
long
paid for our student license.
Oh, yeah?
The program was like 14 months. We went every day, Monday through Friday.
So when did you start taking, like in your bed, like did you start thinking like, okay, I'm about to come home soon, like let me get this together, or like?
No, I signed up my first few months. when I was
Really?
there. Yeah.
Wow,
You got to
that's
get on
what's
the
up.
list.
Yeah.
So I signed up my first few months, and I got in September of 2012. I caught my case in May of 2008. I came home in May of 2016.
Yeah.
So I was definitely in prison giving facials and hand massages for commissary.
Damn, you was working. He was in there hustling.
Yeah, if you know me, you know I'm gonna eventually sell something. So.
Yeah. So what where you get the business side from though? Like really like coming out, like thinking about coming home and doing it the way, legally, and then just the business side of it, like the paperwork, get your LLC, things like that. You know?
I'm kind of inquisitive, and my comprehension is high. So things like that I can understand easily, especially if it's paper and pen. Mm-hmm. You know, I kind of miss some of the tech boom when everything was apps.
Like everything was changing.
I was
like, what?
Facebook,
IG.
When I went in,
it was like a whole different world, right?
When I went in, it was like the iPhone 1.
Yeah.
You know, when I came out, it was the iPhone 6S
like
Plus. You know, it was a whole computer.
Yep.
You know, in your hand when I came home, and so that was different.
You had anybody that you knew that had a business already, like coming up, like father, mom, or like aunts, or anybody that you?
Nope.
Really? So it was just you.
Yeah, I just
broke that.
Yeah, it's just I really enjoy people handing money to me. I just enjoyed it. I really enjoyed trading objects for cash. I just really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And that is what sparked it in me. You know, in a past life, I don't know, but I had to be some type of trades woman or man or something, because I just love the exchange. It excites me.
So before you got out, like let's say months into you had to go to halfway house or something? Or?
I went to the halfway house.
Okay.
Yep. I actually went to the halfway house in West Virginia.
Like in your mind, like I'm about to get on, I'm about to do this, that. You already had it planned out, mapped out already?
I did. When I got to the halfway house, I wrote my goals for the rest of the year. I got there in May. I wrote my goals for the rest of the year. I wrote personal goals, financial goals, and professional goals. And by the time I had looked up, I had completed every single goal. I didn't even go back and check.
Okay.
I wrote them down.
You talking about when you got out, you mean?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, you realized you completed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, in the halfway house, I wrote them in May.
Them down, right.
And by December, they were all done.
Oh, wow, that's cool.
And I had like a year.
What are some of the things that you did, like checking off the list?
Certain things I wanted to save money. I already had that amount. I wanted to do certain things with my credit. Apply for certain credit cards. Like I had always wanted an American Express. Yeah. Just certain things that I wanted to do. And by the time I looked up, they were all finished. And I was like, oh, wow. You know, when they say write it down and make it plain, they serious about that.
No, facts. But I think the time, you said you came out in 16, right?
Yeah.
I don't think fentanyl was a thing back then.
Yeah, and maybe it was just touching or about to be a thing.
Yeah.
It was probably like the pre-fentanyl. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it was probably just about to be a thing, because when it became a thing, whew.
So did West Virginia get hit hard with that?
Oh, West Virginia is still getting hit hard with that currently.
People drop, because people don't know.
And it's fentanyl. It's very strong, and you have no idea with these pressed pills what percentage is fentanyl. And fentanyl is so potent and deadly that it doesn't have to be a lot to take you out of here. Yeah, I have Narcan in my car, actually, because I'm in the community. Yeah. I have Narcan in my car.
Yeah, and then, people, that's what I was about to say, like Narcan is good, just to have on deck in case something happens. But also, like, this is not condoning, but they have, like, I have known people that literally test drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Me selling or whatever, hustling. Mm-hmm. You have people, they got testers for fentanyl too. You know what I'm saying? Because you just never know. Yeah. It's in
you don't want to get taken out of here off a technicality, for sure.
Yeah. So what was your how did business start? How were you doing the business coming, when you got out?
So when I came
did you
home,
did you think I need to get a job? Or did you went straight to business and started doing it?
I got a job. Because I was still nervous. I was nervous because the only clients I had been other inmates like me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And where I was, everybody loved me, So I might have done something that wasn't up to par, and they probably wouldn't tell me for fear of hurting my feelings or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm not 100% confident in my skills, especially because I learned in prison. I practiced in prison. And so, right, for sure. And once I got out here and I got over that.
Yeah, because in your mind, you probably thinking like, okay, that's jail here. And out here, it's a different thing.
Right.
Like, you want to make sure.
Exactly. So I was a little nervous.
Yeah.
But I got out here and killed it, It wasn't nothing to it, I just had to have that confidence in myself.
What I guess things that you had to kind of like stay away from when you got out, was it, we talking about just people or dealing with drugs or turning the bad way, a different side that would kind of get you back there and throw you off track as far as business.
Okay.
You had things you had to fight like or battle?
Not really.
You ain't want to go back.
Right. I ain't want to go back.
I'm not going back in there.
and I really don't have like an addictive personality. If I feel like I need something,
right,
I give it up.
Yeah.
Even coffee. If I feel like if I wake
too
up
much,
too many mornings like I need this, I'm be like, you know what? I got to take a 4 to 6 month break from this. I can't feel like I need it.
But did you always caught it early, or do you ever notice it to where you're like, damn, this shit is affecting sudden, so I gotta.
Oh yeah, with the weed, 100%. With the weed, yes.
Yeah, I think I think people do it for plenty of different reasons. You know what I'm saying? Calm down, or
anxiety. It's just therapeutic,
So
it just helps you not think so hard about things that you might be thinking hard about.
Yeah, but it could also slow you down.
100%. Yes.
Some people, just not letting that part just take them out of here and just not really, get on their feet to do something. It's a quote that I wanted to read though. Here, it's a quote from Robert Downey Jr. He said, "Job one is to get out of the cave. A lot of people do not get out and don't change. So the thing is, get out, come through, crucibly forge and take strong metal. I swear to God, I am not my story. What are your thoughts on this?" So, what's your thought on that message as far as like what Robert Downey said? Like basically like what you was is not going to determine your future. Like, what I'm saying? You got to kind of like get away from, what I'm saying?
That's what I tell people. That's like my motto.
Yeah.
That's my motto. I tell when I mentor women and justice impacted individuals and people that are like me, I tell them just because you've been something doesn't mean you have to be that thing. You do not have to continue to be that thing. Yeah. Just because you were that thing, you do not have to continue to be that thing.
Yeah, I agree with that. So,
when I came out,
like that, from looking from social media though, it looked like you putting yourself in good positions though.
Yeah, definitely that.
That was the plan though, like.
Yes, 100%, 100%. Because I realized that when I was incarcerated, so many different walks of life were on the compound, and a lot of them were willing to share a lot of valuable information that they're out here selling these days. Yeah. So if you sit down and shut up, you might learn something. And so I sat down and I shut up and I learned a few things. There's a girl on the compound who taught me how to fill out paperwork for a nonprofit. I had no idea. I didn't even know I wanted one at the time. But from being her friend, I learned how to fill it out. I wrote several business plans. I took several business courses. I created courses.
What are your business now? Like what business venture you into right now?
So right now, I still have Face Love Cosmetic Artistry.
Okay, that's yours. I have an Instagram page for that.
Yes, that is Face Love Cosmetic Artistry, all lowercase, all one word. And my new venture is a nonprofit organization for mentorship, justice impacted men, women, families, and that's called Lift the City. and I'm still putting that together. But you can follow me on Facebook at Tamika Bruce, and you'll see that soon.
What made you think about that, the nonprofit part?
The nonprofit.
Like what did you want to fix, or you saw a need?
For me, I saw. I see the family as the most important part of the community. Everyone's like community, 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 community. And I see the breakdown of the family. And so if you strengthen the family, then you strengthen the community. And so that's where I'm at. I really want to help individuals just recognize their options, because that's all it is. You don't recognize your options when you make these decisions to commit a crime, when you do drugs, when you stay in addiction. You don't recognize your options. So if anybody can say anything, and if I could be that person to help someone lift their spirit, that's why I call it Lift the City. Because we're going to lift the vibration. We're not staying down here, We're going to lift it. And
was there any faith involved? Anything you have to kind of like reach out to gain strength sometimes? Or keep you solid, like focus?
Yeah. I definitely hear from spirit a lot. And so I believe when you respect, whether it's my ancestors, my higher self, God, when I get this information and I adhere to it, it happens more and more. It's like when you give respect and reverence to your teacher, And so that's how I feel. It feels to me like I'm giving respect and reverence, and they give me more. Okay, so I see you can handle this. I see you can handle that.
Right.
I see you can cross this bridge, so.
And you also got kids to do for too, right?
Right.
You got people,
Yes.
The ones close to you,
yes.
Looking at what you're doing.
For sure.
Yeah, what type of, I guess, as an entrepreneur, business, sobriety, and not, falling, victim to that? Like, what type of legacy you want to leave behind with them? Like,
I definitely.
Cause this is not like non-profit, just business. Like, a lot of people don't realize, but like when we start business and ventures and stuff like that, people might look at it as entrepreneurs could be selfish in some way, but a lot of times we want to leave it behind. You want to leave it to where they can carry it on.
Right, exactly, and that's like, a lot of work.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work. It's not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy. They say all overnight success is 10 years of work that you don't see.
Yeah.
That seems like an overnight success, but they put in 10 years of
work.
work.
Don't see that part.
You know what I'm saying? Before that success hit, and it seemed to be, overnight.
So if you could give yourself some advice, your young self, because there's somebody that was in your position when they were younger, you know what I'm saying? You could give that self some advice.
The young self, what I would tell my young self is, listen here, young self. I would tell you, be patient. It all works out in the end. You cannot hold on to one situation, one scenario, one thing, because it all evens out in the end.
Alright. So they can follow you on Face.
You can follow me on Instagram at Face Love Cosmetic Artistry. Also, you can follow me on Facebook at Tamika Bruce, Tamika.
And the nonprofit start, you didn't start a page for it yet?
Yes, I do not have a page for it, but you will see all the information either on my Instagram or my Facebook.
Alright.
Coming soon.
That's all right. Thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, because, really, I definitely want to thank you for coming out, because without you, there's no me. You know what I'm saying? With the platform.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, I definitely, and I think it's big because what you're doing, because you're giving back.
For sure.
A lot of people make it over addiction. They make it and just become better from their situation that they were in, but they never really give it back to help somebody that can actually get into that position.
Yeah.
So what you're doing is big.
Yeah, I love it. My heart won't let me do anything different.
I shot you out, you know what I'm saying? I see the things that you guys are doing, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. My heart won't let me do anything
keep
different.
doing what you're doing, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. All right.
All right, peace.
So before we